She thought she could hide her dark secret forever, but when the truth came out, it left everyone speechless. This shocking revelation unraveled hidden truths and tested the unbreakable bonds of family and forgiveness. Leah Carter watched the coastal landscape through the car window as she approached her hometown. It was a sunny day, but the cold winter wind made the trees sway vigorously. Leah felt a mixture of nostalgia and apprehension as she returned to the small town where she had grown up. It had been years since her last visit, and much had changed since then, both in the town and in her life. When she arrived at the family inn, the Carter Inn, she parked the car and took a deep breath before getting out. The inn's facade looked as welcoming as ever, with its white-painted wooden walls and windows adorned with flower pots. Helen Carter, her mother, was at the door waiting for her with a warm smile and open arms. "Leah, dear, it's so good to see you again," Helen exclaimed, pulling her daughter into a tight hug. "I've been looking forward to your arrival. We have a lot of work to do, but I know that with you here, everything will be fine." Leah smiled, feeling the warmth of her mother's embrace. "I missed you too, Mom. I'm ready to help with whatever you need." They entered the inn, where the smell of freshly baked orange cake filled the air. Leah left her bags in the hallway and followed her mother to the kitchen, where Rachel, her younger sister, was finishing decorating the cake. Rachel looked up when she saw Leah and smiled, although there was a noticeable tension in her eyes. "Hi, Leah. Welcome back," Rachel said, wiping her hands on her apron. "I hope your trip was smooth." "It was, Rachel. It's good to see you," Leah replied, approaching to give her sister a hug. The tension between them was palpable, but both pretended everything was fine. As she helped in the kitchen, Leah felt a pang of nostalgia. She remembered all the times she and Rachel helped their mother bake cakes and cookies for the inn's guests. But the memory also brought a wave of sadness, reminding her of the days following the accident that changed their lives forever. Later, while organizing some documents in the inn's office, Leah heard a familiar voice in the hallway. When she went out to see who it was, she found Alex Miller, now a Coast Guard, talking to her mother. Alex had always been a family friend, and for a brief moment, Leah felt her heart race. "Leah, is it really you?" Alex exclaimed with a surprised smile. "It's been so long." "Hi, Alex. Yes, it's me. I'm back to help my mom for a while," Leah replied, trying to hide the nervousness in her voice. The two approached and exchanged a quick hug. Old emotions resurfaced, mixed with the pain of memories Leah tried to forget. They briefly talked about their current lives, but the tension in the air was undeniable. When Alex said goodbye and left, Leah returned to the office feeling even more confused. She knew she needed to face her past, but she wasn't sure if she was ready for it. The next day, Leah woke up to the gentle sound of waves crashing on the nearby beach. She stretched and looked out the bedroom window, admiring the view that had always brought her peace. She was on vacation and had decided to spend some time at the family inn to help her mother and reconnect with her roots. She went downstairs and found Rachel in the kitchen having breakfast. Her younger sister was flipping through a photography magazine, her great passion. Leah grabbed a cup of coffee and sat next to her. "How have things been in town since I left?" Leah asked, trying to start a casual conversation. Rachel shrugged. "Pretty much the same. Some stores closed, others opened. The town remains as quiet as ever. And you? How's work?" Leah smiled. "It's going well. Working as a marine biologist has been challenging but very rewarding. I needed this vacation, to be honest." Rachel raised an eyebrow. "Funny you say that, considering you decided to move away precisely to work in another city, even though you live in a coastal town." Leah tried to hide her discomfort. "It was a professional decision, Rachel. I needed to seek new opportunities and grow in my career." "Sure," Rachel said with a note of skepticism in her voice. "But doesn't it have anything to do with what happened in the past?" Leah felt a knot form in her throat. She knew this was a delicate subject, but couldn't avoid it. I really don't want to talk about it, she said, lowering her eyes to her coffee cup. Rachel sighed irritably. You never want to talk about it, Leah. Maybe it's time to face the past and deal with what happened. I said I don't want to talk about it, Leah repeated, now with more firmness in her voice. Please, Rachel. The two sisters fell silent for a moment, the tension growing between them. Leah knew Rachel was right, but the pain and guilt were too heavy to face so easily. Rachel finally broke the silence. I'm sorry. I worry about you. I think keeping all this inside isn't healthy. I know, Leah replied, softening her tone a bit, but I'm not ready. Not yet. Rachel slowly nodded. All right, but know that I'm here for you, always. Leah smiled gratefully and changed the subject, asking about Rachel's latest photography projects. They talked about that for a while, trying to return to normalcy. But Leah knew that sooner or later, she would have to face the ghosts of the past. In the days that followed, Leah tried to make the most of her vacation, helping at the inn and spending time with her mother and sister. One sunny morning, while having coffee on the inn's porch, she saw Alex walking along the beach towards the dock. He saw her and waved warmly. Hi, Leah. Do you have a moment? Alex asked, approaching. Sure, Leah replied, trying to hide the nervousness in her voice. I was wondering if you'd like to spend the day with me. We could take a walk, get some ice cream, anything. Just to catch up, Alex suggested. Leah hesitated for a moment, but eventually agreed. Why not? Let's go. They started walking through the town, talking about trivial things at first. Alex took her to the local ice cream shop, where they laughed and reminisced about childhood stories. Then they went to a park where Alex showed her a new marine life preservation project that was being developed. I'm really impressed with the work you do, Leah. Your dedication is inspiring, Alex said, watching her with admiration. Leah smiled, feeling flattered. Thank you, Alex. And you're doing a great job here in town. It's nice to see some things haven't changed. As the day went on, Leah felt more and more comfortable with Alex. They talked about dreams, challenges, and difficult moments. Alex shared how hard it was to lose his brother and how it motivated him to join the Coast Guard. I wanted to make a difference, help protect people and marine life. I think it's a way to honor Ethan's memory, Alex explained. Leah felt a pang in her heart at hearing Ethan's name, but she couldn't help admiring Alex's determination and kindness. They spent the whole afternoon together, laughing, sharing stories, and creating new memories. In the days that followed, Leah and Alex spent more and more time together. Leah began to realize that her old feelings for Alex were resurfacing, but now there was something more. She was falling in love with him in a way she had never felt before. One night, after a particularly pleasant day with Alex, Leah returned home and found Rachel in the kitchen. Feeling confused and torn, she decided it was time to have an honest conversation with her sister. Rachel, I need to talk to you, Leah said, sitting at the table. Rachel looked at her with curiosity. What is it, Leah? Leah took a deep breath. I think I'm falling in love with Alex, but it makes me uncomfortable because of our secret. I don't know what to do. Rachel placed her hand over Leah's, offering comfort. I suspected this might happen. You two always had a strong connection, but the secret about Ethan is weighing too heavily on you. I know, Leah said, tears welling up in her eyes. I feel like I'm betraying Alex by not telling him the truth, but I'm so afraid of losing what we're building. Rachel sighed. Leah, secrets like this have a way of coming out eventually, and the closer you get to Alex, the more painful it will be for him to find out from someone else. I know it's hard, but you need to tell the truth. Leah nodded, knowing her sister was right. But what if he hates me? What if he never forgives me? That's a possibility, Rachel admitted. but you owe him the truth. Only then can you have a real relationship. Alex is a good person, Leah. If anyone can understand and forgive, it's him." Leah spent the night awake, pondering Rachel's words. She knew she needed to tell Alex the truth, but the fear of what might happen paralyzed her. She wondered if she would ever have enough courage to face the past and the consequences of her actions. In the following days, Leah continued to spend time with Alex, savoring each moment together while trying to find the right time for the difficult conversation. They laughed, explored new places, and shared their passions for marine life and environmental preservation. Each day, Leah felt more connected to Alex, which made the task of telling the truth even more daunting. Finally, Leah decided she couldn't delay any longer. She asked to meet Alex at the dock at sunset, a place meaningful to both of them, where she hoped the tranquility of the sea would help them face the truth she was about to reveal. Leah was nervous as she walked toward the dock at sunset. Her heart was racing, and her hands trembled slightly. She knew she needed to tell Alex the truth, but the fear of his reaction made her apprehensive. When she arrived at the dock, she saw Alex already waiting for her, watching the horizon painted in shades of orange and pink. "Hi, Leah. It's good to see you," Alex said with a smile, but seeing her serious expression, the smile faded. "Did something happen?" Leah took a deep breath, trying to gather courage. "Alex, I need to tell you something very important. Something I've been keeping for a long time." He frowned, worried. "What is it, Leah? You're scaring me." "Let's sit," Leah suggested, pointing to the bench on the dock. They sat side by side, but Leah couldn't look directly at him. "It's about Ethan," Leah began, feeling a lump in her throat. "That night he died. It wasn't a simple accident. I was there, and there's something you need to know." Alex tensed but remained silent, waiting for Leah to continue. Ethan, and Rachel were on the beach that night, just hanging out together. A storm started, and I wanted to show that I wasn't afraid of the sea. I went into the water, even though Ethan and Rachel said it wasn't safe," Leah confessed, feeling the tears start to roll down her face. "The sea got too rough, and the current wouldn't let me get back. Ethan jumped into the water to save me." Alex turned pale, his eyes widening in shock. "Ethan went into the water to save you?" Leah nodded, sobbing. "Yes, he managed to save me, but the current dragged him to the rocks. Rachel and I were in shock and scared. We ran away, and since Ethan's board was on the sand, everyone thought it was an accident." Alex stood up abruptly, walking away from Leah. "You were there and never told me? You lied to me all this time?" Leah tried to approach, but Alex backed away. "Why do you think I left town, Alex? I couldn't look you in the eyes. Rachel and I never talked about it again, and I ran away because the weight was too much." Alex looked at her, his eyes blazing with anger and pain. "You should have told me. I deserve to know the truth." Leah cried openly now, feeling the weight of his words. "I know, Alex. I just needed to tell you. Please forgive me." Alex was silent for a moment, struggling with his emotions. Finally, he shook his head. "I need time to process all this. I don't know if I can forgive you now, Leah." He walked away, leaving Leah alone on the dock. She sat, watching the sun set on the horizon, feeling lighter for having told the truth but devastated by Alex's reaction. When Leah returned to the inn, she found her mother Helen and Rachel in the lobby. Helen noticed her daughter's swollen face and approached, concerned. "Leah, what happened?" Leah told everything to her mother and sister, revealing the secret she had kept for so long. Helen was shocked but hugged her daughter, offering the comfort she needed. "My dear, this must have been very difficult for you. But now that the truth is out, we can start healing together." Rachel held Leah's hand, tears in her eyes. "We also need to forgive ourselves, Leah. Keeping this has been painful for all of us. But now we can face it together." The three hugged, feeling the weight of the secret finally lift. The pain was still there, but now with each other's support, they could start the healing process. The days that followed were marked by a sense of relief and sadness in Helen's house. Leah, Rachel, and Helen spent hours talking, remembering Ethan and crying together. The truth, though painful, began to unite the family in a way that hadn't happened in years. Leah knew she needed to give Alex time to process everything he had heard. She spent her days helping at the inn and reconnecting with the town. Even so, she couldn't help but think of Alex and how much she hoped he could one day forgive her. Meanwhile, Alex was also going through a whirlwind of emotions. He couldn't stop thinking about what Leah had told him. The anger and pain consumed him, but at the same time, he couldn't help feeling compassion for Leah and what she must have gone through all these years. One day, while walking through the town, Alex met Helen in front of the inn. He hesitated for a moment, but decided he needed answers. He approached her and greeted her. "Helen, can I talk to you for a moment?" Alex asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Helen looked at him with an understanding expression and nodded. "Of course, Alex. Let's take a walk." They walked in silence for a few minutes until Alex finally spoke. I can't stop thinking about what Leah told me. I feel betrayed, but at the same time, I understand that it must have been hard for her." Helen sighed, choosing her words carefully. "Alex, I know you're hurt. We all are. But Leah kept this secret for so long because she was afraid. The guilt and pain consumed her, and it drove her away from all of us." Alex shook his head, trying to understand. "But why didn't she tell me sooner? I could have handled it, helped her. Maybe she didn't know how you would react, or maybe the weight of guilt was too great. But the fact is, she finally told the truth. And that's an important step for all of us," Helen said gently. Alex reflected on Helen's words, feeling a new perspective forming. He was still hurt, but he began to see the situation from Leah's point of view. "I need to talk to her again," Alex said determinedly. "I need to understand better and maybe start forgiving." Helen smiled, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. "I think that would be very good for all of us, Alex. Leah is willing to do whatever it takes to heal the wounds of the past." That night, Alex sent a message to Leah, asking to meet her at the dock the next day. Leah, nervous but hopeful, accepted the invitation. The next day, Leah arrived at the dock with her heart racing. Alex's message had filled her with hope and fear at the same time. When she saw Alex waiting for her, she felt a wave of emotions. He was serious, but there was a softness in his gaze that made her believe there was a chance for reconciliation. "Hi, Leah," Alex said, trying to hide the tension in his voice. "Hi, Alex," Leah replied, sitting beside him. "Thank you for meeting me here." Alex nodded, observing the horizon for a moment before speaking. "Leah, I've thought a lot about what you told me. The anger and pain are still here, but I realize you also carried a huge burden. It doesn't justify what happened, but it helps me understand a little better." Leah felt a tear roll down her face, but tried to stay calm. "I know I was wrong, Alex. And I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I want to do whatever it takes to make amends. I want you to know how sorry I am." Alex took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "I think we need to take it one step at a time. I still care about you, Leah, and I want to try to understand what you went through, but it will take time." Leah nodded, feeling a slight hope grow within her. "I understand, Alex. I'm willing to wait and do whatever it takes to rebuild our trust." They spent some time in silence, watching the sea and feeling the gentle breeze. Finally, Alex broke the silence. "We can start over, Leah. We can try to rebuild our friendship and see where it takes us." Leah smiled, feeling a lightness she hadn't felt in a long time. "Yes, Alex. Let's take it one step at a time." In the following days, Leah and Alex began to spend more time together. They had honest conversations about their feelings, their memories of Ethan, and the challenges they faced since that fateful night. Leah felt closer to Alex than ever, and each day the pain of the past began to diminish. Rachel and Helen also noticed the change in Leah. She was lighter, happier. The guilt she had carried for so many years began to dissipate, and with the support of her family, she felt she could finally move forward. Alex was also changing. He began to see Leah not just as the girl who kept a painful secret, but as someone who also suffered and struggled to find peace. He saw her strength and courage, and it inspired him to be more understanding and work on his own healing. They still had a long way to go, but they were willing to face the challenges together. With each step, they rebuilt their friendship and perhaps something deeper. The days passed quickly, and Leah and Alex continued to strengthen their bond. The honest conversations and shared moments helped heal some of the past's wounds. However, Leah knew her vacation was coming to an end, and soon she would have to return to her life in the big city. One sunny afternoon, Leah and Alex decided to visit the cemetery where Ethan was buried. Rachel and Helen decided to give Leah and Alex space, understanding that this moment was crucial for both of them. They walked in silence to Ethan's grave, feeling the weight of memories and emotions. Leah held a red rose in her hands. When she reached the grave, she knelt and carefully placed the flower on the headstone. She remained silent for a few moments, taking deep breaths and gathering the courage to speak. "Ethan," Leah began, her voice trembling but firm, "you were the best friend I could have ever had. You were always by my side, and in the end, you became my hero. You gave your life for me, and that's something I can never forget or repay." She looked at Alex, who watched her attentively, and then back at the headstone. "The fear and guilt consumed me for all these years. I ran away from everything and everyone because I couldn't deal with the pain. But now I'm here, facing it all head-on. I want you to know that I'm trying to be a better person, that I'm trying to find peace." Leah let the tears flow freely as she continued. "Ethan, I promise I will live my life as best as I can, honoring the sacrifice you made for me. You will always be remembered as my hero, and I will always love you as the amazing friend you were." Alex approached and placed a hand on Leah's shoulder, offering silent support. Leah looked at him and felt a wave of gratitude. She stood up and hugged Alex, feeling that part of the weight she carried was finally being lifted. "Thank you for being here with me, Alex," Leah said, her voice filled with emotion. "I will always be here for you, Leah," Alex replied softly. "We will overcome this together." They left the cemetery hand in hand, feeling a deeper connection and mutual understanding. Leah knew the path to healing was long, but with Alex by her side, she felt ready to face any challenge. As they walked back to town, Leah couldn't stop thinking about the future. Her vacation was ending, and she knew she would have to leave soon. The uncertainty about what would happen between her and Alex worried her, but at the same time, she felt a renewed hope. Alex, beside her, also seemed lost in thought. That night, Leah and Alex met on the beach where everything had begun. The sun was setting on the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. They sat on the sand, watching the waves break on the shore, and for a moment, they enjoyed the shared silence. Leah knew she needed to talk about her departure. She turned to Alex, her face reflecting the sadness she felt. "Alex, my vacation is ending. In a few days, I'll have to go back to the city," Leah said, looking at him with sadness. Alex sighed, feeling the weight of her words. "I know, Leah, but that doesn't mean everything between us has to end. We can keep talking, seeing each other whenever possible. What we have is special, and I don't want to lose that." Leah smiled, feeling a bit more relieved. "I don't want to lose it either, Alex. Let's take it one step at a time and see where it leads us." They hugged, a long embrace full of silent promises. Leah knew she was closing an important chapter of her life, but also opening the way for a new beginning. In the following days, Leah and Alex spent as much time together as possible. They explored the town, visited places that had meaning for both of them, and enjoyed each moment. Leah began to see her hometown with new eyes, appreciating the little things she had previously overlooked. Finally, the day of departure arrived. Leah packed her bags, feeling a mix of sadness and hope. Helen and Rachel hugged her tightly, promising to visit soon. Alex was there, waiting to say goodbye. "I promise I'll visit you as often as I can," Alex said, holding Leah's hands. "I'll do the same," Leah replied, feeling tears form in her eyes. "Let's keep in touch, Alex, no matter the distance." They hugged, a long embrace full of silent promises. Leah entered the car, waving to her family and Alex as she drove away. She knew it wasn't a goodbye, but a see you later. She was ready to face the future, knowing she had the support and love of those who mattered to her. The trip back to the city was a mix of emotions for Leah. As the familiar landscape disappeared in the rearview mirror, she couldn't avoid the feeling of loss and longing. However, hope and determination were also present. Although she was leaving her hometown behind, she carried something very valuable: the chance for a new beginning with Alex and reconciliation with her past. When she arrived in the city, Leah threw herself into her work. She decided she didn't want to run away anymore. She would draft a marine life preservation project to implement in her hometown. She knew there was a lot of work to be done there, and that she had only avoided it before because she didn't want to live with the guilt. Thus, the days turned into weeks. Leah began planning meticulously, drafting proposals, seeking partnerships, and raising funds for the project. Her passion for the cause and the desire to protect sea turtles gave her a new purpose. And besides, she could work close to the people she loved most. Leah decided not to tell Alex, her mother, or Rachel about her project. She wanted it to be a surprise and was eager for the day she would return home, this time to stay. One night, while Leah was working in her lab, she received a message from Alex. He sent a photo of the sea with the caption, "Thinking of you." Leah smiled, feeling the warmth of memories invade her heart. She replied with a photo of her workplace, showing a tank full of colorful corals, and wrote, "Wish you were here to see this." Finally, the day arrived. Leah had everything planned and was ready to surprise Alex and her family. She returned to her hometown for good, bringing with her all the resources and plans to start the preservation project. It was a new beginning, not just for her but also for the community and the sea turtles she loved so much. Leah parked the car in front of Alex's house with her heart racing. She had meticulously planned this surprise, and the moment had finally arrived. She took her bags from the trunk and headed to the door, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. When Alex opened the door and saw Leah there, his eyes widened in surprise. "Leah, what are you doing here?" he asked, surprised and happy at the same time. Leah smiled, feeling lighter than ever. "I came back, Alex, to stay. I'm going to start the sea turtle preservation project here in our hometown." Alex pulled her into a tight hug, emotional. "That's amazing, Leah. I'm so happy you're back." They spent the day sharing the news with Helen and Rachel. Rachel, as a photographer, was thrilled with the idea of documenting the project and helping with the promotion. "This is going to be great, Leah. I can take incredible photos and use them to raise community awareness about the importance of preservation." With Rachel and Alex's support, Leah began working on the project. Rachel took photos of the turtles, their natural habitat, and the conservation work, creating a powerful visual campaign. Rachel's photos began to attract attention on social media and in the local press, generating great interest in the project. Rachel was making a difference, using her skills to promote an important cause. "I'm so happy to be here and contribute to something meaningful," Rachel said as she reviewed the photos she had taken. I feel like I'm finally in the right place, doing what I love. Leah felt deep gratitude for her sister and the support of everyone around her. With each passing day, the project gained more strength and visibility. The community began to get involved, volunteers joined the cause, and the town became an example of environmental conservation. Leah and Alex started working together daily, further strengthening their bond. Alex became a fervent advocate for the project, using his position in the Coast Guard to help protect the turtles and combat illegal fishing. One night, as Leah and Alex walked along the beach, she stopped to admire the moon reflected in the waves. "I never imagined I would be here doing this," Leah said, her voice full of emotion. "But now everything feels right." Alex pulled her closer, hugging her lovingly. "I knew you would return to where you belong, Leah. I'm so proud of you." Leah smiled, feeling completely at peace. She had faced her fears, reconciled with her past, and found a greater purpose. And above all, she had found the love and support of Alex, Rachel, and Helen. Time passed, and Leah felt more at home than ever. The Sea Turtle Preservation Project was thriving, but the real triumph was the reconciliation with her past and the renewal of her family bonds. On a sunny day, Leah was on the beach, watching the waves break on the shore. Alex approached silently and hugged her from behind. "What are you thinking about?" he asked softly. Leah smiled, feeling completely at peace. "How everything has changed. How I finally feel like I belong somewhere." Alex turned her to face him. "You always belonged here, Leah. You just needed to find your way back." She looked into his eyes, grateful for everything they had shared. "Thank you for never giving up on me, Alex. I don't know what I would have done without you." "We're in this together," he replied, holding her closer. "We always have been." That night, the family gathered at Helen's house. Rachel was adjusting the camera for a family photo. "Everyone ready?" "Smile." As the camera captured the moment, Leah felt a wave of happiness. She was surrounded by people she loved and who loved her unconditionally. Helen, Rachel, and Alex were her support, and together they had overcome so many difficulties. After the photo, Helen brought a tray of homemade cookies, and everyone settled in the living room. Leah looked around, feeling grateful for each person there. "You all mean everything to me," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "Thank you for helping me find my way back."